Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK journey video. In this video we're going to be going through the Supreme Arena defenses I'm planning to use for this week. This week is an interesting one because they have the energy tiles on map 3, which always makes you think about, okay, what are the best comps I can try to run there? So we'll go through the defenses I have set for right now, and then I'm going to show you an alternate formation I have saved in case these ones are not working well for me that I'll switch to, and then we'll talk about some other options right at the end of the video. Okay, so my number one team, and this is going to be exactly a team that I have run in the previous week, and it did pretty well for me with the frontline spell, with your two Fresters up in the front, as well as two of your Mauler buff tile heroes being teleported into the enemy team. You're going to be triggering the frontline spell very quickly, and it provides like damage bonus and damage reduction onto your allies who are within the enemy's territory, which hopefully will be at least 3, like Frester Illusion, and then both of the heroes on the Mauler buff tiles. We have Coco protected behind the barricade so that basically she has a better chance of surviving and able to cast her ultimate for the damage reduction. And Rainier here for his charm bonus onto Shakir and his damage reduction bonus from plus 10 exclusive equipment. This team overall has done pretty well for me. It's a bit awkward again because, like, for example, there aren't there's only one tile where you can actually use basically charms of Rainier to apply to hero. And so, for example, Coco cannot apply her charms to anyone no matter where I position it in this map, but I think this should do pretty well. And you can also try Verdant Spell, basically frontline spell or Verdant Spell with this Mauler type of tanky team. Both of them do well, and you can just see which one does better for you. But I personally feel frontline spell is a little bit better. But okay, so here's a team, and for example, if you don't have Frester, you can replace it with another tank. I think a good option would be Brutus, it would be Entendre, even Dumont, something like that. Or if you wanted to, you could even replace it for Talene and have basically your 3 Maulers on the buff tiles and then have Talene. But then you only have healing from Mikola, but people have done Talene with Maulers and it works pretty well. Okay, so that's my team number 1. Team number 2 is my Scarlita Stroll team. And as I mentioned in my PvP charm video, I'm really going to try to focus getting Haywin charms, Scarlita charms, even Floribel charms. And this team is going to then be taken to another level. But as right now, it still is pretty good. Like, Haywin is pretty well protected. And Damien immediately will begin healing your team and basically recovering the lost health for the shield amount. And then the backline allies, or like Haywin and Floribel, are really difficult to kill. You can even try Verdant Spell in this team if you want, but personally for me, I feel like Tide Call Spell does the best. It has the most just raw HP percent, and it has a nice haste buff, and of course a really important debuff can trigger after casting 4 of your ultimates. So this is my second team. Again, you could replace Scarlita for something like Talene, that would be fine. And I think that would be probably one of my other, or you could replace it for something like Vala for some more kill threat. Basically, yeah, Talene, Vala, Scarlita, some sort of other kill threat on this team is going to be important, because otherwise you just have Floribel for your damage, which might not be enough. Okay, moving on to team number 3. Team number 3 is my energy buff tile team. So I definitely wanted to go for Maulers again. Like I've told you guys, I'm always now running 2 Mauler teams in Supreme Arena and 1 Wilder team. So then the question was, okay, which are the heroes which are going to benefit from the Mauler buff tiles the most? Now, out of the Mauler heroes that I have, the only heroes which I thought would be really good on the energy tile would be maybe Elsa or Set. For example, my Soren is not built up right now, and I know he can be a pretty good option. So I was like, okay, let's go for Elsa instead of, for example, normally in a team like this, I go for Brutus to have some more tankiness. But Brutus wouldn't do well on the energy tile, but you could just run him off the energy tile. I think that would be fine. But basically what my strategy is if the opponent brings Lily May, which a lot of the times they're going to bring Lily May into a team like this, I want the Lily May to interrupt my Elsa instead of Tasi, so Tasi can get off her ultimate. So that's one thing I'm thinking. Also, the thing is, in this map, because people are going to go for energy tiles of their own, they're not going to be then protected by the buff tiles in the back. So for example, Mauler buff tiles, Wilder buff tiles, even if they're running them, there's still going to be 2 heroes which are susceptible to Tasi ultimate. And also we have Lily May to interrupt their ultimate on the energy tiles. So I think this can be good. However, if someone brings Dunlinger, they completely shut down this team. But then you have the raw damage from Smokey and Odie with the resonating spell on Odie to try and kill things. But Yeah, Dunlinger is a hard counter to this team. Also, I'm sure there is some way, like maybe if they run Eironn and Lily May together, they can like guaranteed interrupt my Tasi. That would be really bad for me because I really don't care about also casting her ultimate. I just really want my Tasi to cast her ultimate because I think that can be a game-winning ultimate for me. But yeah, so this is what I'm experimenting with, but it does seem a little bit risky, and I don't know how well it's going to do. But if it holds up, then I'm going to continue running this team. Now I'm going to show you an alternate option of formations in case this one doesn't do well for me. I'm planning to use this one. So I'm going to go back to team number 3. So I think this can also be pretty good. We have Coco on the energy buff tile, and then you have Vala and Shakira. Because here you can't make use of Rainier because Rainier can't be in front of Shakira in this position. But you can still have 2 pretty good heroes on the buff tiles, which are Vala and Shakir. Or you could even go for Vala off the buff tile. Maybe this would actually be better. Mikola on the buff tile and Vala behind the Forester Illusion. Yeah, and with the Verdant spell, because in this team, you're not guaranteed to get your 3 allies into the enemy territory. And either way, even if you do, Vala is going to keep jumping back, even if, for example, you teleport it into there. So I think Verdant spell would be better with this team, and I just have everyone kind of grouped up so that they can get the value of all of the buffs, because if I had heroes up here, for example, then I wouldn't be able to, I could do something like this, but then I'm missing out on the Crimson contract on my allies. So I think this could be better. And then also the Charms of Coco are going to increase the tankiness of my main Festo so we can survive better, and damage reduction onto Vala. So I think this is a pretty good team that I'm thinking about trying as well. For example, if my Tasi Elsa team is not working well, I'll try this on team number 3, and for team number 1 it will be pretty much my standard one I've run previous weeks, which is tried and tested. It does really well. Smokey and Odie on the buff tiles, Brutus to tank, and then Lily May protected behind the barricade, which I think should be pretty good for her. And I just wanted her to be on a hidden tile, and Eironn to control them in the hidden tile, which the opponents do not know about. And as for charms, I have gotten the Gale charms for Odie. Those are what my focus was today. I got pretty lucky and swept and got them. And he's going to do well in PvP with them. And already he's doing pretty well in PvP this season. That is going to take him to another level. I need to get the charms for the other heroes here. Basically, I just have Shakira Mikola for Dream Realm, and Forester doesn't even have his complete set right now, which will make him empowered as well. So these are basically the teams I'm thinking about. The only other option is, for example, like we've talked about each week, you can go for a Lightbearer Tasi team if you want, or a Mauler Tasi team. So for example, just to show you like an example of a Mauler Tasi team, it would be like, it would be something like this with some other Mauler hero. Maybe something like this with the resonating spell on the Tasi in the back. It could be this, or it could even be, for example, it could even be Lumont. Lumont on the buff tile is pretty good because he can get into the enemy team and begin stunning them and knocking them up, and that is pretty valuable. So I would like a team like this. I think it could be pretty strong. I was actually testing a team like this last week, and it did pretty well for me in like the limited testing I did. And so I think this is a really good option. Also, Entendre gives more tankiness to the Brutus. So this is a really cool team you could try as well if you don't want to go for the Odie team. But I feel like the Odie team is also really good, and I want to make use of that. And then you could, you could even go for something. You could even go for Odie in this team, right? If you wanted to, you could go for Odie in this team, and you could go for Resonating Spell over here. And then on this team, you could go for the Valor Shield spell. Yeah, you could do something like this, basically, and that would give Tasi the haste at the beginning of the match, and unaffected, although that doesn't really help because we have the Mauler buff tiles already, but it would give Brutus the shield as well. For what it seems like having the Mauler buff tiles is more consistent than the Lightbearers, but it also depends on which heroes you have built up. For example, if you have good Lightbearer heroes built up, then definitely going for, you could keep Lily May and you could go for the Lightbearers like this. This would be good as well. Let's try to find, so Lucius will be up, or he can even go over here, and then Rowan can be over here. This is a very strong team as well. Actually no, Lucius should be up here so that he gets the, we need him to get the Valor Shield spell, so I think even in this position he is more frontline compared to Lily May. So yeah, this would be the placement for Lucius and Tasi for the Lightbearer team, and this can be really good. And like, let's say you don't even have Tasi, you can just run any other hero. Like you could even do Rowan on the second buff tile, and then you can run any other hero here, like even for example Eironn, something like this. So these are basically just a bunch of different team options you can try to run depending on which heroes you have, but basically I would stay away from the Eironn Nuke team still. Eironn, Carolina, Arden, you can run it if you don't have better options, but it is susceptible. But in this week, like, I mean, you do have the 2 hidden tiles. You could go for the Eironn team over here, Eironn, Carolina, Arden. And you could do Damien as your final hero, or you could go for a Rowan or Granny. You could go for Granny as another tank. You could go for a team like this. This would also be really strong. And you can go for the Arcane spell if you're going for this full magical damage team, or you can even again go for Verdant spell. Verdant spell is always a solid option. Those are basically going to be the teams I'm going to be testing for this week. Hopefully some of these can work out well for you, and good luck with them. But I'll hopefully see you guys in the next video. And just as always in Supreme Arena, you just have to always think about, look at your logs and see if people are defeating your defense. Mix it up and try one of these other defense options. They might be doing better for you, because it's hard to know which defense is actually the overall best set of 3. So you'll just have to practice and see which ones are doing well, or if not, you can change it to one of these other defenses we talked about. But anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. That's gonna be it for this one. I'll hopefully see you guys in the next video, and until then, everyone, peace out for now, and thank you for watching.